Hi, I'm Nigel Mansell. Formula One is broken and I'm here to fix it. This is the state of F1.
Except he's not Nigel Mansell. These are both Nigel Mansell, but neither of these Nigel Mansells are comedians who have been asked by Carfection to give their ridiculous views on Formula One. Got it?
In the modern era, drivers have gone from being death-defying heroes to whining little shits. Why is that? Is it the push for safety? Is it the commercial considerations of a modern corporate entity? Or is it because we constantly hear them whining on the radio? It's all of that, but the radio situation is getting out of hand.
When Vettel got his penalty in Canada last year, he immediately took to the radio to go on some diatribe about how he'd been wronged, how it was all his parents' fault, how this was the worst social injustice since Nelson Mandela.
Then, about 20 minutes later, they cut back to him and he's still going on. It's easy to imagine that in the preceding time, he's been banging around the track at 200 miles an hour, moaning about everything. From how the stewards don't treat him right, his parents never love him, the mechanics don't hang his overalls up to dry properly. And then if you add to that the fact that in every race, Lewis Hamilton moans about tyres, Fernando Alonso spent his second win at McLaren just giving him a piece of his mind, and then in modern F1, every wheel scrape and tyre bang is met with anger at such ferocity that it might as well be your mum saying you could have your eye out with that. But I blame myself. I used to be an advocate for drivers to be real people and not just corporate press releases clearly written for them about how good the car was to drive. But the problem with competitive animals is that's all they care about. And after a while of listening to broadcast radio in Formula One, you get to learn about the drivers. And what we learn about them is that they're whining little shits. It started off okay enough, but like everything in Formula One, it's about efficiency. And the whiny drivers learn that if they pipe up on the radio about any indiscretion, it will get to Charlie Whiting quicker, and then it will get to the stewards quicker, and it's more likely that they're going to get their penalties dished out.
I was watching the 1998 Japanese Grand Prix on YouTube the other day. It's mental. Schumacher stalls on the grid and the camera zooms in on his helmet, but we can't hear his radio back then. We don't know whether he's moaning to the engineers that it's their fault, or that it's his fault, or that he needs a pee. He just looks stoic. And if you think back to that epic Monaco-Senna qualifying lap, it'd be slightly less epic if in those days we had radio and all we could hear was him moaning about his girlfriend's choice of knickers or what tax code they've put him on.
Don't worry, I have a solution.
Ban radio. I know, we thought we wanted it. We thought it would give us insight into the way the drivers' minds work, but actually we were wrong. A few years ago, they tried to ban the engineers coaching their drivers through excruciating corner by corner how to drive a car. Well, they should have gone further. Yes, there are times where driver radio is truly entertaining, but it's mainly overshadowed by such boring shittery. Instead, I propose car-to-car radio. The drivers will be able to speak to each other, but not the teams or garages. And they love to go on about how complicated their steering wheels are with all their buttons and knobs. Well, let's make it harder for them. The next time that Grosjean whacks into Perez, Sergio has to go on his steering wheel, find the Haas dial, and then remember if Grosjean is driver number 1 or number 2. He presses it, leaves a message saying, "You hit me," but all he gets back is a voicemail saying, "You've reached Kevin Magnussen's car, suck my balls." Maybe we can implement this system in the future. We can get fans to taunt their favourite drivers as they whiz past them on the track via Bluetooth. Or, failing that, we can just stop the whining by getting the drivers to listen to their own radio messages at night on a loop whilst they try and sleep.
Come on. Get it, Kel. Get it. No! No!
That'll do it.
I've got a podcast for Formula One's sake. You'll probably hate it.